So if you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're ambitious but also lazy. Deep down, you have big goals, and every time you create the perfect schedule or the perfect to-do list. But when it comes to taking action ruthlessly, relentlessly, consistently, you find yourself paralyzed, unable to focus on the task at hand. So my goal is that by the end of this video, you'll be able to take action consistently even when you feel lazy. Because to be honest with you, there's plenty of days I feel lazy, but it hasn't stopped me from going from struggling financially over 5 years ago to building a profitable consulting business that makes me upwards of $1,000 per day in my early 20s remotely. The first thing I'd like you to really understand is that ambition without action, it typically creates a feeling of guilt. Honestly, is this you? Tell me. You have big dreams, big goals in life. You often find yourself daydreaming about what your dream life would be like, and you spend a lot of time planning, thinking, researching, but very little time taking action. You often come up with the perfect to-do list, the perfect plan, but then you can't resist the temptation of scrolling on social media for hours or binge watching your favorite Netflix shows. If this is you, I completely understand, because over 5 years ago, I was pretty damn broke and I desperately wanted to become successful. Growing up in the lower middle class, I felt like we were living half of a life. I was witnessing my parents struggle, being underpaid, undervalued, and every time at home, my parents would complain about the price of basic necessities, like bread, like clothes, like electricity. To give you an example, my mother was working a dangerous night job as a nursing assistant. I say dangerous because she had to take care of very violent patients, criminals, folks that got into knife fights with gangs, thieves, drug dealers, and because they were all understaffed, underpaid, and undervalued, she was working in very dangerous conditions. All of that for no recognition and a small pay. And so while I would see my parents constantly arguing and having money issues, at the same time at school, I could see these wealthy kids getting dropped off in brand new Porsches, incredible cars that my parents could have never afforded. They had expensive clothes, they'd get the latest iPhone every year, while at the time, I didn't even have a phone. And it took me years to finally get my parents to buy me a $50 phone. And every time after the summer vacations, it was the same damn story. These rich kids would tell stories of their vacations to Italy, to New York, to Greece. They would visit these beautiful places, and during all summer I'd see them posting stories of it on Snapchat, while I was forced to stay stuck in my tiny room with nothing to do because we couldn't afford to go on real vacations even though my mother really wanted to travel. So I can really relate to you if you have big goals, big dreams, and big ambitions, but you feel lazy. You feel like there's just something holding you back, preventing you from taking action consistently. Because 5 years ago, that's exactly where I was. I knew I wanted to be super productive, super successful. Like my goal was to wake up at 5 a.m, take cold showers, and work 12 hours per day until I became successful. But the problem was, at the time, I was trying to change everything in my life all at once. I was trying to go from nothing to everything literally overnight. It's like the people who expect to build a profitable business without putting any work. Well, obviously they're being delusional and it's not gonna happen. Nowadays we have crazy opportunities to build wealth. We've never seen anything like it in the entire history of mankind. Like, it's insane. Nowadays 20-year-olds like me can make thousands of dollars per month or even per day with an online business working remotely. 20 years ago that was impossible. In fact, just the other day I was having this conversation with my father on Christmas Day. I told him, I've made this much this month, can you realize like how crazy this is? I don't even have a degree. I've never been to university. But all of that was only possible because I had a dream, a vision, and I never gave up. But the reason why most people fail to get what they want in life, whatever it may be, the body of their dreams, the relationship of their dreams, or the income they've always wanted to make, the business of their dreams, it's because they give up and because they let their fears and their doubts hold them back. I've never seen someone work extremely hard on their business for 2 years and not become successful. But because 99% of people quit before they get to that point, they never make it. So you have to realize that being lazy is normal actually. Us human beings were programmed to conserve as much energy as possible because back then, for our hunter-gatherers ancestors, energy was scarce. They didn't have a fridge or supermarkets, so they couldn't just get food whenever they wanted. They had to go out there every single day and hunt for it. And if they came back empty-handed, they couldn't feed the tribe. So it required active effort just to maintain themselves alive. Nowadays, for most of us at least, maintaining yourself alive is the easiest thing in the world and you don't have to hunt every single day to get some food. So know that when you feel lazy, it's only your brain trying to trick you into staying in your comfort zone and also not expending energy, because your brain doesn't really understand that nowadays we're not living in tribes anymore, or at least we're not living like our hunter-gatherers ancestors. So your brain is always thinking, oh, maybe I won't have enough, because that part of your brain, what people call the lizard brain or the monkey brain, is very short-term oriented. It doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care that you want to have a six-pack abs when you could eat a piece of cake right now, because the piece of cake, it's very tasty, it's amazing, it ensures survival because it's high in calories. But the monkey brain only sees that. It doesn't care that you want to walk on the beach with your shirt off and look amazing. Your brain doesn't care that you want to build a business and become a six-figure or even a seven-figure earner, because the brain doesn't really think long-term. The part of your brain that's responsible responsible for logic, for reason, it's the prefrontal cortex. But that part of your brain, it's much more recent than the other part of your brain, which is the lizard brain. But at least once you become aware of this, it becomes so much easier to not fall for the trap. Because let's say right now you're sitting down to do some work, you've just opened up your laptop and you start to have some thoughts that says, oh, we can just do the work later. Right now I could just go and watch Netflix. I could just grab my phone, open up social media and start scrolling. It won't do me any harm. But when you're able to realize that, hey, this is just an excuse created by your brain, now you will see things clearly. Now you'll be able to make the right decisions and to tell your brain, hey, look, I have a goal to achieve. So I decided I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now, obviously, don't expect to make this work on your first try. It takes repetition, just like with anything else in life. But this process, dissociating from your thoughts and your emotions, is incredibly powerful. Because to give you an example, if you only ever went for a workout whenever you felt motivated, if you're honest with yourself, most likely you'd only ever work out a few times per month or per year at best. I remember the first couple times I started to exercise in my life because I wanted to look better and get in shape. At first, it was very difficult to stick to a workout program because it required a lot of conscious effort. But then, because I did it again and again and again, I persevered in spite of my laziness, of me wanting to just stay on the couch and instead watch movies. It became a deeply ingrained habit, and nowadays, if I don't exercise, I feel really bad. Like even just physically, I feel like I have less energy. And in order to get to where I am, in order to be able to make upwards of $1,000 per day in profit with my business, I had to learn to overcome my fears. I had to essentially surpass myself, to transcend into a better, more evolved version of myself. And so 5 years ago, because I wanted to have a profitable business, I figured that like the thing I needed to do, it was to essentially overcome all of my fears. And it's not until the day I told myself, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm sick and tired of being broke. I'm sick and tired of being lonely, not having the relationship of my dreams, not being able to travel, not being able to do anything and watch my parents complain about the price of everything every single day. I was sick and tired of it. And it's not until this day that I took full responsibility for all of my problems and that I told myself, okay, every day I'm gonna force myself to do at least one thing that scares me. It's not until I did these things that everything in my life completely changed. But obviously it didn't happen overnight. It was a process that took me years. And to be completely honest with you, I am naturally a massive overthinker and a massive perfectionist. So I had to learn to overcome my natural tendency to delay taking action. So if I could do it, you can do it too. It's completely achievable. Like, I'm gonna be very vulnerable, very honest with you here, but over 5 years ago, I was so anxious, I couldn't even leave the house just to go for a walk in the neighborhood. Yes, you heard that right. That's how bad it was for me, because I had gone through many traumatic events in my past, and so I was paralyzed. But it was just my brain coming up with all these nightmare scenarios to prevent me from putting in the work and becoming successful. So it's crazy because your own brain is not designed to help you to reach your goals. So you have to actively reprogram your mind for success if you actually want to stand a chance at making your dreams happen. And if you don't, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen to you. You won't die with your dreams. You will take your dreams to the grave with you. And please, please, please do not let this happen to you. I know people who died with their dreams. It's the worst fucking possible thing ever. There's nothing more tragic than having the potential to make your dreams happen, having the drive to make it happen, but you let your fears, your doubts, or your brain hold you back. And especially if you're watching this right now and you're young, you're in your 20s, now is the time more than ever to take risks and to work extremely hard for what you want, because no one will give you the things that you want other than yourself. And it's your responsibility in life to obtain what you want, because no one is coming to save you. Nobody came and saved me. I had to find right mentors to learn from them and to do the work. So on that note, if you are an ambitious individual and you want to break free from the 9-to-5 grind and the rat race, you want to build a profitable business so you can become financially free and live life on your own terms, to help you, I've recorded a free video in which I share with you everything I did step by step to make upwards of $1,000 per day in profit with my own consulting business. And in that same video, I'm also going to share with you the only 3 things you need to focus on doing if you're serious about making money. I will leave the link in the description below, or you can also directly apply to book a call with either me directly or my team, and we'll see if we can actually help you to start your business. Now, the thing I'd like to share with you is that people don't actually understand how motivation works. Plenty of people think that in order to get started, they need to feel like it. They need to be motivated. And maybe, sure, motivation is initially what gets you started, but what keeps you going, it's consistency, it's discipline, it's your dream. Because if you want something bad enough, if it really matters to you, you will find a way to make it happen. You'll find the time. You'll go to sleep earlier, wake up earlier. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. So you can find excuses or get results, but you cannot do both at the same time. You have to pick which one you want to have. And in my experience, the people who keep making excuses, they never become successful, but it's on them. And so in reality, the way that motivation works is that the more you get results from something, the more motivated you will be to keep going. Now at some point, however, it gets a bit tricky, because typically when people start to make more money, they can become complacent. consistent. But for the most part, if you do something, like let's say you grinded extremely hard on a business, or you were trying to learn a language or an instrument, you did that for a year straight, nothing came out of it, 99% of people will have given up by then. Honestly, if you want the key to getting ahead of 99% of people, just don't give up. Stick to something for 2 years relentlessly, roll up your sleeves and put in the work, and you are guaranteed to become more successful than 99% of people. I'm not kidding, it's that simple, because nowadays people literally stick with nothing, and somehow they expect everything to be handed to them on a silver fucking platter. Well, that's not gonna happen. So motivation is a cycle. The more you put in results, the more you put in the effort, the more results you're gonna get, and the more motivated you're gonna be to keep going. To give you an example, in business, let's say you sell services or consulting, you get your first client. You see, oh wow, this process really works, it's amazing. And so now you're even more motivated to keep going and to keep putting in the work and to keep getting other customers. And then it creates a positive feedback loop. And typically the less you do something, the less you exercise, or the less you work on your business, the less you feel like doing it, because you lose momentum. Momentum is what keeps you going. It's like the more you eat sugar, the more you start craving it, but the less you eat it, the less you feel like eating it. So my overall message for you is this: if you are ambitious, you have big goals and big dreams, please stop waiting, stop delaying your success, because you never know what happens in life. You don't have a guarantee that in 5 years from now, you're not gonna die from a horrible car crash. Can you tell me for sure it's not gonna happen? No, you can't if you're honest with yourself. You cannot predict the future. So please do yourself a favor and start taking action as soon as you're done watching this video, which is why it's time for you to make a choice now. You can keep watching YouTube videos on how to improve your life or how to build a business, but doing this will not make you successful, because you're just consuming information, but you need to take action, remember. But if you are part of that minority of ambitious individuals who's committed to building a business so you can become financially free, I invite you to check out the free resources in the description below, or to directly apply to book a call with me or my team, and we'll see if we can help you to build your business. That being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower more individuals to become financially free. And to thank you, when we get to 100,000 subs, I will be giving away $10,000.